Even some of Saudi Arabia's staunchest defenders are tonight calling for a tough response by America if the Crown Prince is found to be connected to Khashoggi's murder. That's leading to reports tonight that there's a wedge between President Trump and some in the GOP on this issue. Let's bring in Senator Lindsey Graham, member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, and someone who's been very vocal on this story. Senator, welcome.
Thank you.
You've talked pretty tough about this. I mean, there's still a lot of fact-finding to do. What does your gut tell you? Because we know what some of your fellow lawmakers have said.
Number one, the Crown Prince is 33 years old. There's a reason you can't run for president until you're 35.
In this country?
Yeah, in this country. He's been a wrecking ball. He put the Prime Minister of Lebanon under house arrest for a while. He put an embargo on Qatar and didn't tell anybody in the world about it. You know, one minute he's a visionary leader, the next minute he's putting women in jail who protest. The man killed in the consulate in Turkey was a critic of the Crown Prince.
Are you convinced now that he is gone? He's been murdered?
Oh, absolutely. You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes, my favorite line, to figure this out. He goes in the consulate, he never comes out. We have intel that Saudi Arabia, the Crown Prince, was annoyed with this guy. They lure him. Where did these 15 people come from that landed in Turkey, went to the consulate, and left? Somebody who's an autopsy expert. What's that got to do with the interrogation? I will not have my intelligence insulted or my support disrespected. I was the leading advocate for Saudi Arabia because they're a strategic ally. And Donald Trump, President Trump, has been tremendous to the the country of Saudi Arabia. This is the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen toward a president of the United States. He has done everything he could to help Saudi Arabia, and this is the way you're repaid. He's a strong man, President Trump. This will not go unanswered.
Okay, I want to play something that Senator Marco Rubio said to us last night about the interconnection between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. I think the bigger issue here becomes the role they play in our Middle Eastern strategy. And the administration, and I think wisely, that had built them as a key linchpin against Iran and their ambitions and their expansion in the region. That's endangered now. If they did this, it makes it impossible for us to work with them closely in the short term until something's done about it.
Okay, so all kinds of interconnections on oil, on their military needing us to help sustain them, on the issues with Iran. I mean, Yemen, what's going on there?
You know what we need the most? To be good Americans. We deal with people who are bad because sometimes we have to, but these are allies. This shows tremendous disrespect for me and President Trump to put us in this box. You can't take criticism at all to send a assassination squad to Turkey to kill a man on foreign soil in a consulate in Turkey violates every norm known to mankind. Freedom of the press, extrajudicial killings. This all originated from the Crown Prince. I'm convinced of that. The president needs to be measured. I get that. But the world is watching us. They're not going to join Iran and Saudi Arabia. There are plenty of people in Saudi Arabia that we could have a good relationship with. But if the Crown Prince stays in power, it will be almost impossible to reconstruct this relationship at a time both of us need it.
All right. Well, the investigation continues. There's a joint investigation with the Turks and Saudis, among some others. So we will continue to watch and see as we get new information. I want to get you to respond to something, too, that you've taken some heat about today. Here's something you said earlier today in talking about taking a DNA test with respect to Senator Elizabeth Warren.
Come back in a couple of weeks and we'll take a look.
We'll find out who you really are.
I'll probably be Iranian. That'd be like terrible.
Okay, you said probably like Iranian, and Brian followed up there, meaning you mean the leaders, not the people, but that offended a lot of folks.
Well,
Jamal
I'm sorry if it did.
Abdi, president of the National Iranian American Council, said this: if you dread the notion of Iranian ancestry and believe all Iranians are liars, you are hopelessly bigoted and unfit to serve in the U.S. Senate, where votes affect tens of millions of Iranians and millions more of Iranian ancestry in the diaspora.
Well, if you know anything about me, name one person who's been a bigger defender of the Iranian people to fight back against their oppressor. It was a joke about, you know, I'm the Ayatollah's ancestor here. The Iranian people are brave and cultured. To my liberal friends who are offended by my statement, at least I didn't vote for an agreement that gave $150 billion to the man who kills Iranians in the street because they're demanding freedom and a fair election. I have stood with the Iranian people. I will continue to do so. I have nothing but contempt for the Ayatollah and his murderous regime. And it was a joke, and it was directed at the Ayatollah, not the Iranian people. So if you know anything about me, you're an Iranian dissident, I'm on your side.
Will you let us know about the results of the test?
I can't wait to tell you. You see, I've been told, I don't know if it's true, that my grandmother was part Cherokee Indian. So all I can say...
Now, are you being facetious, or you mean this for real?
I've been told that, but now I'm going to find out. Okay. Because all I got to do is beat 1/10 of 1%, then I'll win the prize between me and Elizabeth Warren.
All right, reveal the results right here on Fox News at Night. We'll look forward to that. Senator, thank you for coming in.